Hey everybody, my name is Alex Powell. Today I am going to showcase a web application that I built called Timbre. Um, Real quick before I get into this, I want to just be super clear, this is not a tutorial. Rather, it is a demonstration of a cool thing that I built that I'm super proud of, that I'd like to be able to add to my portfolio. Um, so, uh, Timbre is a web application that I created that's kind of influenced by a really bare bones social media style type app. Um, there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those things. But one of the things that I don't really like about social media is how bloated it's become over the years. There's tons of things that are constantly politicized. There's always controversies and things like that, and it just gets to be really stressful. As somebody who listens to a lot of music and really enjoys discovering new music, I kind of had this pipe dream idea of something that I could use to discover new artists and also discover new people, therefore enabling me to discover new artists and etc. So that's really kind of the basis of this. The application itself is built on Node.js and Express.js, which I found to be very interesting. This is really kind of my first brush with it, but I wanted to give myself a challenge, so I built it with that stack. It has a Microsoft SQL Server backend, and then all of the front end is custom HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I wanted to make it fully custom. I had a very clear idea in my mind of what I wanted it to look like, and it just seemed easier to do it kind of from scratch rather than using a framework like Bootstrap. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the demonstration of this. So for this demo, I'm going to just step through the entire process from registration to following users, unfollowing users, and seeing how that influences the different components of the website. First, I'm going to hit register here from the home page. Once I'm here, I can create a new user. Let's call this Preston, I guess, at gmail.com. Alright, so once I've registered the user, I get redirected to the login page, and I can see you're now registered and can log in. So I'll log in with the credentials I just provided. And before I can actually get into the application, I need to provide additional information so that I can set up my profile, and especially authenticate to Spotify. This is really, every bit of functionality in this website is dependent on authenticating to Spotify. So I'm just going to fill in some pre-populated data here. That's not a real state. Try to make this kind of realistic. Wisconsin, US, and I'm just going to use Google for all of the links. There's some validation in this form. I'm not going to show that off just for brevity's sake. Give it a good old lipsum. And a profile picture. Update my profile. And the next step is to log in with Spotify. So again, like I said, this is going to be a really critical component to this. If you're not authorized with Spotify, you can't see your top artists, but you also can't see other people's top artists. You can't see their feeds, stuff like that. It's all kind of protected behind Spotify's API. So I'm going to click this guy. It's going to ask me if it's okay that Spotify views my account data, and, that the app views my activity on Spotify, things like that. I'm going to agree. Alright, so now I'm signed in with my profile. One thing I'm not really crazy about right off the bat is that this Discover People is actually supposed to have a list of other users. We'll get into that in a little bit here. It's just a bug that I have to work out. If I click My Profile though, I can see all of the information that I provided is now accessible in this profile. I can also see all my top artists. So this is my top 50 artists that's pulled directly from the Spotify API. This is one of the more important features of the site, because if you're looking at someone else's profile, you can see all of their top artists. You can also see additional things such as mutual artists, which I'm going to show next. So I'm going to go to Eric's profile now. His profile image isn't loading, but you can see, he has a different profile. I have the option to follow him, whereas before it said edit profile. Here's all of his links to his, social media with more built-in functionalities. Let's say I wanted to connect with him after discovering that we had similar music interests and talk to him on Facebook, for example. I could just click this link and get straight to his profile. I could also see top artists. As you can see, it's different from the top artists that were on my profile. One of the cool things about this is that on every user's profile, there's this tab called Mutual Artists. And if I click this, it's going to show of my top 50 artists and of this user's top 50 artists, these are the 5 that we have in common. So it's just kind of a good, conversation starter, entry point to determining whether you want to follow this person. Is being able to see what types of music you have in common. Similarly, if you go over to top artists, you can click through to any of these and listen to them on Spotify. So if I click Death Cab for Cutie, for example, look at this, there I am in Spotify. Alright, so I'm going to follow this user. I think I like what I see so far, and I'm going to go back to my dashboard, and things are going to look a lot different here now. So the first thing I want to draw your attention to is the feed component right here. So this is showing all of the top most recent songs that Eric has listened to. So this is going to work across everyone that I follow. I'm going to be able to see all of the songs that they had listened to most recently. Similarly to on the profiles, I can click through to any of these and it opens in Spotify. I'm not going to do that because it starts playing the song right away and then it's going to get distracting, but general ideas there. I also have this Discover People widget on the top left. So this is really for the way that works is that it queries all of the users that exist in the Timbre database, and for any users that have similar interests in different artists based off of those top 50 artists, they're going to show up in this panel. So in this case, I reuse my own Spotify credentials in a lot of different areas. So all of these users that you're looking at right now are all using the same thing. It's noted that we all like Darkstar, so I could follow all these people and I could see what they're up to. You can imagine in production this would be quite a bit more useful with different Spotify accounts and credentials. Below that you have Discover Artists. So this is kind of like Discover People, except flipped. So this is based off of the people that I am following currently. So right now I'm only following Eric, but what it's pulling and what it's actually showing in this area are the artists that Eric listens to that I don't listen to. So I can see Decemberist, for example. Get the image, I can see who listens to it, and then I can see all the genres listed out. I can click this as well, and it'll just bring me directly into the artist profile on Spotify. I think that is everything I needed to show off. I'm going to go ahead and follow one more user just to show you how quickly this all updates. So if I go, I have a user called Peas. And again, the user experience for navigating between profiles isn't fully baked out yet. In a regular application, you wouldn't expect people to know the URLs or the IDs of users. So that's something I still got to build out. But if I go over to Peas, for example, one of my friends so graciously shared her credentials with me so that I can authenticate with her profile. If I click Mutual Artists, I can see we have Depeche Mode and the 1975 in common. So that's good enough for me. I'm going to go ahead and follow Peas. Go back to my dashboard. Now there's going to be new information in here. So, a little bit farther down here, I can see everything that Peas has been listening to recently. And then similarly in Discover Artists, I can see, there's different things. 21 Pilots, Peas listens to this. It's not something that I got from Eric. So as you continue to build out your network and follow additional people, you get a lot more dynamic information in here, and a much greater chance of finding new artists by following new people and then just clicking through and discovering things the way that you normally would in the Spotify interface, for example. Alright, so that concludes the demo that I have today. Thank you very much for watching. This is my first foray into recording videos for YouTube at all, so you'll have to forgive me if the sound quality is a little bit weird or if I stumbled over my words in a few points. So yeah, like I said, this is really, this is a project that I had built, and I really just kind of wanted to show it off. I'm really impressed with myself, to be frank, on getting this working in the first place. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot, what with learning new, tech stacks and everything. But I think it's in a really cool spot. Future phase, I'd love to integrate some more React components into this, and eventually get it deployed out to Heroku, or using Heroku, so that I can actually build this out and use this application. This is very much something that I built with myself in mind, as somebody who really likes listening to music and discovering new artists. So it's my hope that I can get this pushed out to a real live URL, and we can get some users in here and discover new music together. Thanks so much.